Hello and welcome to the STUK on Self-Love podcast. STUK Designs is a successful nonprofit for girls and a clothing brand run by young women from around the world. At STUK Designs, we believe in self-love first because self-love is the dawn that marks the beginning of all the different kinds of loves and because it undoubtedly sustains success. This podcast shines light on strong and talented women who excel and persevere in life while bathing in abundant self-love. So if you're ready to keep it real, level up in all your inner work, creative business, and community impact, then you've come to the right place because we provide you with content that helps your soul glow and your mind grow. Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the STUK on Self-Love podcast. I'm Tazeen, your host. I hope you've all been doing amazing. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. But yeah, I hope you guys have been doing great. There are times when we're doing not so okay. And that can be because we have a lot of things to do, a lot of tasks piled up. There is this pressure of meeting deadlines or, getting all your work up to date, managing your priorities and all these other things. It can get quite overwhelming, to be honest. Life doesn't really move in a straight way. There are deviations, there are obstacles, and at the end of the day, things don't always turn out the way you want them to. All the preparations that you've done, all the planning that you've done can not necessarily go to waste, but it can surely feel like it. And then you're just left with a bunch of things to do, a whole load of work that needs to be completed. We all have our ways of getting through situations like these, and I think it would be a great idea to talk about that because we all do need a little motivation. We all need a little guidance every now and then. For me personally, the one thing that really helps in such situations is brain dumping. And I've spoken about brain dumping before, but in a different context. I've spoken about it in terms of managing your anxiety and your feelings and all those things on the previous talks and even on the blog and everything. But it is a very useful tool. It's a very useful thing that you can apply to a lot of different circumstances, like this one as well. And it is pretty simple if you think about it. But why it helps, that is, there are reasons as to why it helps. Write everything that you need to do physically. Write everything down. It's simple. But the thing is, sometimes things seem a lot bigger in our heads. A lot of the times that these difficulties that we face in getting things done is because we're not able to manage it mentally, right? So when you're actually writing things down, right, you are breaking that loop because there's a constant loop that's going on in your brain where it is jumping from one task to another, not really preparing and planning for one single thing. So you're thinking about all these things, but you're not necessarily going anywhere with it. You're not necessarily planning or preparing for any single thing properly or getting anything done at all. So I think that first and foremost, laying everything down is really important in a to-do list, right? Or whatever you can call it, whatever name you want to give it, and then number them. So when you can actually see it, whatever you're thinking of, take a minute, pour it all out. When you can finally see it, when it is numbered, when it is organized that way, it takes away a lot of the fear of actually doing it. It makes it seem a lot smaller, than it actually feels in your head because your mind obviously exaggerates a lot of these things. Then after you've laid everything out, sort them one by one. Now, here's the thing. What I do, allotting time to every single task. Now, obviously, yes, things do get in the way. Yes, things don't always go as planned, but I think allotting time to every single task is really important. So when you've had your to-do list, take one step at a time, take each task at a time, plan what do you need to do for task number 1, what do you need to do for 2, what do you need to do for 3. Plan it all out. Don't actually sit and do it. Don't begin, but start allotting a time. Okay, so tonight I could do this, 8 p.m. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I can do this. Whatever it is, basically, giving a time for each and everything. Because when you are allotting a time to a specific task, you can consider it done in this moment when you're feeling overwhelmed, in this moment where your mind is in absolute chaos. So you can think of it that way, and that task is now the responsibility of future you. So your future self is going to take care of that. Your present self can just relax and not have to think about it anymore. Now, you can, after you've completed allotting time, which is your next step, right? You can now see what you need to take care of in this moment and what will be taken care of later. So now you can because you've prioritized things, right? So that way you can now say to yourself, I cannot do anything for this right now. I cannot do anything for this one right now. So there's no need for me to worry anymore. This is not my problem anymore, my current self's problem anymore. This is my future self's problem, right? So you could do that. Or if you are in that state where you're way too overwhelmed to do anything and you don't really have the mental capacity, you don't really have to allot any task for now. You can just put it all, schedule everything, not put it away, not put it off, but schedule everything, like I said, and have nothing scheduled for now. And now you can you've organized it, sorted it out, you've a lot of time, you can just step back and relax, not think about it at all. Just take your mind off of it. Watch a movie, watch a TV show, whatever your, comfort place is, go there mentally, go there physically if you need to. And, just take your mind off all those things. But of course, our brain does like to, keep on worrying. So when it tries to do that again while you're in the middle of your movie or a TV show, whatever it is that you're doing, you can remind it that you've already scheduled everything and that it will all be taken care of as and when the allotted time arrives, right? So that can really help you gain clarity. That can help remove this to an extent. Of course, you are going to be tense about a couple of things. It's not as easy as it sounds that, just, write it down, forget about it. It doesn't really happen that way, but it does lift the fog a little bit. It does give you some sort of clarity. And practicing mindfulness is something that we can all benefit from, being present in the now, being present with, what you're doing at that moment. That focus helps you to remain calm and then gives you better results in your work, because when you're not worrying as much, your brain has a lot more room for creativity. You will also be a lot more productive when you have that kind of focus. Because when life gets busy, as it does for a lot of us, we often lose sight of all these things. A lot of these things that I'm talking about now is quite simple. It's probably a lot of things that you are already doing, which is a great thing. But as and when, every now and then, we do need a reminder of this word, because when things get busy, we forget about it. And like I said, when things get busy, it only feels right to fill our days with just work to do, task after task, everything needs to be packed, your entire day. You feel that compulsive need to actually not waste a second and not take a break and, just constantly work, or else you begin to feel this guilt creeping up on you. But I think that there should be room for things that we like to do, right? That we enjoy doing. And things that are necessary too. So for example, some form of physical movement, right? Now, whether it is exercise or, walking or yoga or dancing, whatever it is, any sort of physical movement, whatever gets your body moving, because we need that time to shake off the stress, to physically shake off the stress and to, gain clarity, to get our minds clear, right? physical health and mental health are quite closely related. Not that, exercising is the answer and solution to all your problems. And once you start hitting the gym or you start jogging every single day, all your problems are going to go away and you're going to be fine. It doesn't really work that way, of course, but, it does help you in many ways. And plus, when you have that regime, when you have that regular routine of having some sort of physical activity incorporated, when you have a lot on your plate, on days when you do have a lot on your plate and you feel like you're going off track, this regime, this consistency, it brings some sort of familiarity into that chaos, right? So it helps to ground you in a way, not necessarily that even on days when you don't feel like it, that you have to do all your sets of exercise and complete workouts. Like I said, any form of physical movement is gonna help tons. And do things that you like that I previously mentioned. Find something that makes your heart truly happy. Any hobby, right? Any activity. Your brain needs that little boost of positivity, even if you're super busy. I understand that it's not going to be possible for a lot of us to read. If we like reading, read for hours on a busy day, or paint for hours, or whatever it is. But at least 10 minutes, even on a busy day, right? Because even those 10 minutes can give your mind a lot of clarity. It can give your mind that balance that it needs because you're doing something that you really enjoy. Some days are going to be tougher than others. Some days are more manageable. Keeping a few set practices to maintain that balance is important. And also, it will help when things do eventually go off balance, because that is going to happen. No matter how much you plan or prepare, you're not going to live a very consistent life in that sense, then where nothing goes wrong and you have no obstacles and you're gliding smoothly, right? So when you do have a few set of practices, it can really help you. And this happens to the best of us, right? No one is walking around out there with everything organized and everything sorted out. No one has it all planned out. We all face obstacles. We all get derailed off track. And it's only natural to feel overwhelmed when you finally do have a load of tasks that are piled up. It's not that you're doing something wrong. This is something that you need to remember when in a situation like this. You need to remind yourself that it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just that in this circumstance, you need to swap out things that you need to do on this occasion for the things that you've been doing, that you usually do, because that is not necessarily set or required for this particular chaotic situation, right? Life brings a lot of uncertainty with it, but little changes and little habits, right, along the way can make a huge deal of difference. If you have any tips and tricks that you use in moments of absolute chaos, when, a giant to-do list is just staring down at you, then please let us know in the comments down below. I'm sure we can all benefit from it. And as always, you can reach out to us via Instagram or Twitter. Our handles are on both platforms, STUK Designs, that's STUK Designs. And thank you for tuning in to this episode. That is it. If I missed anything, let me know. And that's it. It was so nice to talk to you guys once again. It's been a while. I will try my best to come on here as frequently as possible. And thank you for tuning in once again. See you in the next episode. Bye. Hope you liked that episode. We are all about preaching self-love and empowering women and girls around the world. Support us in our journey as we provide art supplies and many more resources to girls in Ghana through our two programs, the Fly Girl Initiative and Little Artists. We are also working on hosting more Color for a Cause events, as well as our No Filter school tours. Your help will enable this organization to work on bettering the lives of people around the world. For more information, visit our website www.stukdesigns.org.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. You can visit our website, www.stukdesigns.org, to shop our merch, make donations, join our blogging team, or be a part of our affiliate program. See you in our next episode. Love and light from us to you.